True that, not realizing that, but in the end he did come into the pits, put these soft tyres on and got back out there for one absolutely cracking lap that allowed him to start on the front row. You can see there, W True in front of you. So here we go then, the final race of GT4 NZ. It has been a cracking season and I thank all the drivers for being a part of it and everyone for spectating. But stay tuned with us for one more race here. It's all comes down to this. They're trying to take the championship here at Spa in the feature race. There's going to be pit stops. There's going to be plenty of action. No doubt about that as they are underway. Lights out as Sidog leads them away and straight away he covers off W True. Ethans gets a good start. He's looking around the outside as Pure Axel looks to the inside. Pure Axel looks to the inside of W True there as he tries to make the move up into second position and he might be able to get it done. They're going to have to sort it out before they head up into Eau Rouge. That battle has allowed Sidog to pull away in front. Pure Axel now defending ahead of W True, ahead of Ethans, ahead of Norm. Those are the ones to watch in the championship. And Sidog just has that nice little lead. W True gets very wide there at the top of Radalon. As they come onto the straight and put the power down, and already there's a penalty in the background for in Exile, I believe that was. As now Norm goes to go up the inside here of Ethan's. Norm late on the brakes, up the inside, and he gets the move done. What a move from Norm as he had more speed up through Eau Rouge and carried it down the straight. Now moves up into 4th position and hunts for the lead of this championship. Remember, he's 5 points behind Sidog as Sidog leads on 35 points now as Norm straight to the inside of W True and gets up to 3rd. This is a man on an absolute mission as Pure Axel meanwhile picks up a little shortcut penalty, a half-second penalty there, excuse my voice. This is already cracking racing as drivers using the curb there as well on the exit. Can we get a replay here of what actually happened there for the move for 2nd place? Oh, so sorry, for 3rd place for Norm. They head down into the corner. You can see Norm just looks to the inside, got past W True. W True just opened the door once he knew what was happening. He doesn't want to lose too much time. Let's get the job done so that Ethans doesn't get past as well. Slot back into line. So we get back into the live action. It is now Sidog ahead of Pure Axel, ahead of Norm, ahead of W True. And those, of course, are your top 4 in the championship as well. In your top 4 out on track. Thrilling stuff. And it's a great format here in the finals of GT4 NZ. W True still putting that pressure here on Norm though, still trying to close in. Ethan's there running in 5th position. He finished the first 2 races in 5th. He's back in 5th position again, but he's right there ready to pounce in front, and he's actually the closest driver here in these battles, right behind W True. Is he going to think about it? Now down into this heavy braking zone, into the chicane. W True defends the inside. He's wise to it. He knows what's happening. Goes to the inside. Ethan's thinking about the outside move there. Can he try and line something up now on the exit? Goes out wide, then gets the power down on the exit. Can he get it done? No, not quite on this occasion. And we're 1 lap done. It is Sidog leading the way now ahead of Pure Axel and Norm. And actually one thing Ethan's now thinking about a move. Down the inside he goes. No, he backs out of it in the end and Norm hangs on to 4th position. And battles up and down the field as always in this championship. We look now as Inexile is ahead there of his teammate Nismanath in the Who Corp livery. Honourable Airborne there in 8th position with his gold liveried Ping Zero. We love to see it. Great support we're getting from Ping Zero, of course. He's putting up the prizes and providing the website all the functionality that we have throughout the season. And great to see the drivers reciprocating that support and putting that logo on their liveries there. Another one with the Ping Zero logo on. You can see it on the side here of Sidog as he does everything he needs to do out in front of this race. Pulling a lead now over almost 2.5 seconds. But I do want to highlight one fact, and this is one of the great things we can do in sim racing, is we can have a look on board at all the telemetry, because we see racing soft tyres here from Sidog, racing mediums here from Pure Axel. So the strategy playing a part, and I'm sure we're going to see that play a role later in this race when they do take those pit stops and they do have to change those tyres. I'll remind you of that compulsory tyre rule. They do have to use racing mediums or racing hards at some point during this race. So that means Sidog does have to come into the pits. He will have to switch on to the worst competitor tyres. And we predict that we'll see Pure Axel switch onto the soft tyres towards the end of this race. That's a little bit further away though later on. Norm, meanwhile, he's on the mediums as well. So we're seeing that difference there. W True, mediums. Ethan's here on the racing soft. So we're seeing that sandwich. We're seeing Psydog and Ethan's. Those are the two runners on the soft tyres. Those middle three, they've decided to opt for the racing mediums in the first stint. They're going to go a little bit longer in this stint and try and get on the faster tyre towards the end of the race. It is a full 16 laps this race, so it's a long one. They're going to need to take on fuel most likely as well. They definitely have to be... There's going to be a lot on the minds of these drivers, as Ethan's now all over the mirrors of W True and trying to give him one more thing to think about, trying to defend that position. Speaking of defending positions, it's Airborne and Booners having a little bit of a battle there for 8th and 9th position. Airborne all over the back of Booners there as they went side by side into the chicane, into that braking zone. Booners in front for the time being. Looking at them as well, we've got the soft tyres there from... No, we've got mediums here on Airborne and softs from Booners, so this race might play back into the hands of Airborne later on, and maybe even in a few laps' time when that tyre wear starts to tick up quite a bit. Run through the field once again, so we have an idea. We have Psydog there on the soft tyres. You can just see the tyre wear coming in, especially on those front tyres there in the Mustang, as he's now 3.5 seconds ahead of Pure Axle, so he's really making the most of those tyres while he can, setting those purple sectors once again. Pure Axle there on the medium tyres. You can see significantly less tyre wear for this man driving the McLaren. He races around, tries to conserve those tyres. We actually had that driver spotlight earlier in the week looking on Facebook, and Psydog did talk about in his interview, he talked about how he likes to conserve the tyres. He likes to conserve the fuel as well. Whenever he's the fastest driver, he doesn't just think about lap times. He suddenly goes into this other mode of taking all those factors into consideration and trying to improve, trying to get better, and doing a great job. As you can see, I mean, he's won every single feature race this season, and that's one aspect that's allowed him to do that. So on the mediums there, a little bit more tyre wear from Norm, so maybe just the car as well. See those front tyres just slightly more worn on the Mustang. And then W True under pressure from Ethan. So W True on the medium tyres as he cross back. Ethan's going to get the cross back here. This could be an absolute move, but W True's going to have the inside for the left-hander. Ethan's round the outside. What happened to Ethan's? Oh, he just lost time and didn't quite get the position. Close racing between these two as Ethan's wants to make the most of those soft compound of tyres. He wants to get through while he can, while he has the advantage. But W True just doing a great job to hang on for the time being, defend that position, and it was smart driving. I thought he'd have given Ethan's the inside there through one of those corners, but he was smart about it. He let the inside for one corner so that he knew that W True had the inside for the next corner and he can hang on for the position. Hangs on to 4th for the time being, and still Ethan still applies the pressure. Still W True has to defend the inside down into the chicane. Ethan's round the outside. Now he's going to think about trying to get the best exit possible through this last part of the chicane and back onto the straight, because we know down into this hairpin, the first corner of the track, can be a good overtaking opportunity if you get the run, if you can produce the overlap. But it seems like he just doesn't quite have enough going in there. BMW puts the nose down the inside. Is he going to think about a move there? Or there's a little bit. It's so close between them. So much respect between these drivers, though. They get through there cleanly. W True hangs on to the position, hangs on to 4th. Keeps going through this race as we've completed 3 laps. Still 13 left to go. It's a long one here to end the season. It's crucial. These drivers are going to have to keep pushing at the absolute maximum with the full 16 laps if they want to walk away with the championship. Here we go. Ethan has the slipstream. W True defends the inside like his life depends on it, and that is what is allowing him to hold on to 4th for the time being. Still, oh, he starts to slide a little bit. Tyre wear's definitely going to be creeping in there. They're not going to be able to push quite as hard as they were on those first couple of laps. They're now, these two drivers now about 8. Oh, Ethan's to the inside. What a move. He just saw the opportunity at the last second. He went for it. And now he moves up to 4th position. I don't even know how he managed to do that. Can we get a second look of that one? So they come into the right-hander. Can we go on board, in fact, with Ethan's view here in the replay? So they come down into this right-hander. He's a couple of car lengths back. Just brakes so much later. Slides it in towards the apex. Somehow gets through there cleanly. What an absolute pass there from Ethan's. Holy moly. And now he goes up into 4th position. Now, can he try and use those soft tyres to pull away? Or has he lost the optimal grip out of them as W True is putting all sorts of pressure straight back on behind him? Ethan's, of course, is going to have a little bit more tyre wear at this point. He is on the soft tyres, W-True on the medium tyres, but that's going to sort of go back the other way later in this race once they make their pit stops. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked at what an overtake that was. That is going to have to be move of the night, isn't it? Oh, here we go. Ethan's has gone a little bit wide. W-True's just sneaking up the inside. It's going to just drive past here and get the position, get back up into fourth. It's Ethan. Oh, they run wide on the exit, trying to keep their foot flat in the throttle. Can't quite do it when you're running side by side there. As Ethan's picks up the penalty and instantly winds down most of it as he comes into the pits. Ethan's pitting quite early there off of the soft compound of tyres. He's the first one to come in after just 4 laps. Stardog, of course, our other man running on the soft compound of tyres. He's staying out for the time being. And Nisbanath comes into the pits as well. So we're seeing the strategy playing a role actually a bit earlier than maybe I would have suspected. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. You can see the difference now between Sidog and Pure Axle. It's 3.7 seconds. So it hasn't actually gone up that much. We saw it was 3.5 about 1 lap ago. Only gone up a few tenths since then, as maybe now the tyre advantage starts to swing back in favor of those medium tires. Sidog, though, just doing what he needs to do, putting his head down, pulling that lead out in front. A reminder that he has 5-point lead in the championship right now after the first 2 races, finishing first and third. He's on 35 points. Pure Axle currently in 4th overall, running in 2nd in this race. He's on 28 points. And then Norm and W-True, they are both on 30 points. So need to really turn this race around. There's plenty of time to do it. And of course, the strategy is sure to turn this race around later on. The time actually coming back down now. So I would say that the tyre advantage definitely swinging back in the other direction. Pure Axle now going faster here than Sidog. Do we see Sidog come into the pits at the end of this lap? This is where practice can pay off. If you know what strategy is going to be the optimal strategy. Look how quickly that gap is coming down now. It's down to 3 seconds. Dropping like a fly. And surely that's going to be Sidog coming into the pits. 2.8 now. And how much longer is Pure Axle going to continue to run? How many more laps can he do on his tyres? Norm and W-True running the same strategy as well. How much further behind are they? So Norm actually dropping it off a little bit. You can see that Pure Axle just doing an absolutely cracking job. We call him the king of the feature races. And a feature race once again here tonight. And he is stepping up to the plate. I suspect that after the pit stops, we're going to see him on those soft tyres absolutely hunting down Sidog in the lead. As the gaps now open up just a little bit as they start to quiet down in the middle of this race. There's still a battle here though, as In Exile is ahead of Boonus, with Boonus chasing him just a second behind there. And where are our pit stoppers? So Ethan's out of the pits. He's the first of the drivers to have pitted as Sidog comes into pit lane. This is definitely one we want to be keeping an eye on. Pure Axle comes past the start-finish straight. He's going to come out in front of this race. And I think it's quite a long pit lane we have here as well. So Pure Axle comes around the final corner. So there's pit exit. Pure Axle inherits the lead of the race. Sidog still in the pits here. So he gets his tyres on. He's going to have to get a lot of fuel on board that car as well. We saw him down to 47%. And the fact that he's coming out on 69%, still with 10 laps to go. I think we might be seeing a 2-stop strategy here from Sidog. He comes out of pit lane in 5th position and actually quite a ways ahead of, where is he? There he is, Ethan's. We're trying to find our other man who has made a pit stop. So he's quite a far way ahead of Ethan's is Sidog, as Ethan's now has traffic to contend with. Of course, it's not lap traffic, it's just cars that have not made their pit stop, so they have every right to defend the position as Hardstopper comes into the pits as well. That's what makes it so tough when you do decide to take this strategy. You do decide to come into the pits early. It means you really have to work to make those overtakes, but it should be easy enough as he goes to the outside. Straight line speed versus the Porsche. Does he have enough of it? Surely he's going to be able to brake later. No, he's not. Airborne, throws it to the inside, hangs on, side by side. Ethan's now though, he's going to have the inside line as they go a little bit sideways. Sliding, still side by side, 3 corners in a row. Can Ethan's get through? He really wants to get through as soon as possible. Finally, he's managed to do it, but what great racing we're seeing. Yeah, it seems that whenever Ethan's is next to someone, he is just having an absolute cracker, eventually getting through. He wants to get it done easier than that, but great racing against Airborne, and I love to watch it. That's why we keep an eye on board of that. As Sidog now has a bit of space, he's got In Exile to catch up to in front of him, so he's now 14 seconds behind Pure Axle. course, Pure Axel still has to make that pit stop and change those tires. So I might actually just have a quick look now. We do get that onboard information. Racing softs. So Psydog is indeed, we can confirm, he is on the 2-stop strategy here as he decides to make the most of the soft compound of tires. He is of course going to have to come into the pits again because he has to run, according to the rules, has to run mediums or hard tires at some stage during this race. And that really is going to change things. What are we going to see? Are we going to see a reaction from Pure Axel? What does he think of all this? Is he just going to stick to his guns? Is he done practice and knows what he wants? He doesn't come into the pits on this occasion. So I suspect what we're seeing here is he's going to run those mediums that bit longer and maybe switch just with the 1 stop later on in this race and go onto the soft compound of tires. Although I could be completely wrong. We've seen that before. Maybe he jumps onto the medium tires and does 2 equal stints on mediums. Who knows? As Inexile now comes into the pits out of 5th position. Pit crew there waiting, ready to change those tires when he gets in. There he goes. He's picked up a little bit of penalty earlier in this race. Comes in now and they're going to change those tires. Quick, smart. Get a little bit of fuel on board as well. And he'll be right back. Actually, they didn't put fuel on. So this is interesting. This might be a similar 2-stop strategy here from Inexile. As he comes out of the pits. I think there was someone right next to him as well. Who is that? That's Ethan's. Ethan's who has managed to get past Booner's, but now he's got Inexile in front of him. So I believe that's actually Inexile has jumped the position there. So there's the overcut working in Inexile's favor as Ethan's had to struggle to try and make overtakes to get through the field and lost time as a result. He's now surely going to tuck into that slipstream. Is he going to be able to do it down the straight and make the position up straight away? Bonus though has got a good run. Bonus is going to be fighting back. Who is going to get the position here? It's a tough battle between all 3 of these guys. Bonus might get both of them. Bonus to the inside, dives, makes the move. He's going to get both of them as he slides it out wide. Oh, I think there was a little bit of contact in the background. Sideways there from Inexile. He hangs onto it though, catches the car. Bonus up into 5th position. Now having to defend. Inexile wants that spot and he's going to throw it into the inside. Bonus didn't want to give him the inside, but Inexile just squeezed right up next to the grass, took the inside line, knew that that was going to be the way to get the spot, and he goes up to 5th position. There's a battling pack here for 5th spot, and every position counts. We talk about it a lot. Again, Ethan's battling it out, trying to get into that 5th spot after the 2 5ths earlier on. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the gaps now because Psydog has managed to get that gap down to an 11.5 second. This is the gap we're keeping an eye on because, of course, Psydog, with that 2-stop strategy, Pure Axel still needs to make another stop. So actually, both of these drivers, I believe, going to end up having to make another stop in this race. But Psydog pushing hard. It was 14 seconds, down now to just over 13. He's catching up to the back of W True, who is on those older medium tires. Those front 3 all on the same strategy, running that longer combination. Is that going to be the optimal one, or is Psydog going to be able to push back? You can see he's just so much faster in this phase of the race now as it goes down to 11.1. And the gap to W True goes down just to 2 seconds as he sets the fastest lap of the race with the 2-minute 27.0. W True actually has also been catching up to Norm here, so there's different strengths. Maybe we talked about that Mustang maybe having a bit more tyre wear than the other cars is now dropping into the clutches here of W True as Norm tries to carry on in this race and keep pushing harder. They're 9 seconds off the lead here of Pure Axel, so Pure Axel is doing an absolutely great job in the lead of this race. Just pulling away, setting lap after lap, not making any mistakes out in front, and that's what he's done all season, and it's what he continues to do here in the finals. We've got a quick glimpse of him there in the foreground. Using the slipstream now is W True though, gets right up onto the back of Norm, and this battle could be all on for the rest of this lap. He wants to try and make that position and get up into 2nd spot, fight for this championship. This is actually who he's fighting for 2nd in the championship. 3 months of PlayStation Plus on the line between these 2 drivers. And of course between Pure Axel as well, as it stands at the moment. Pure Axel, I believe, would be picking up 2nd place in the championship. Psydog would actually, no, all of these drivers might tie, so we might just throw all those calculations out the window because it's sure to change any moment now as these 3 drivers are going to come together all at the same time. Norm running a little bit wide there. No, he gets through there with plenty of speed. Psydog coming onto these 2 and he's coming with speed, he's coming with pace. Where is he going to try and make that move? You can see just the extra grip that he has on offer. Is he going to go straight for the inside? He just goes for the first opportunity. He only just got onto the back of the W2 and straight away chucks it to the inside. Makes the moves done with ruthless precision. He gets through and he's up into third. So now I can say that if it stays the way it is at the moment, Psydog would win the championship. Pure Axel, I believe, would pick up second place. And then it would be Norm. So Norm wants to keep on pushing hard. He wants to keep on moving forward. Try and get that second place. Try and get into the prize money. Alright, Psydog, is he going to try and get the move? Looks like he's going straight for it. He's going to have to go around the outside because Norm is defending. Pure Axel comes into the pits. They go side by side into the chicane. Norm and W True come into the pits as well. So all three of them onto the same strategy. They come in. Very different amounts of fuel being used there though. So W True has saved a lot more fuel. He's on 43% still. 21 there from Norm. 29 there from Pure Axel. Psydog is going to come out. He is leading this race now as everyone else takes those pit stops where they're going to have to put a lot of fuel in before they come back out onto the soft tires there from Pure Axel. So that is confirmed as he comes out of the pit lane. W True as well, and we suspect that Norm is all going to be on the same strategy as well. So he comes out of pit lane, still in second place, but about 14 seconds off the lead of this race, and he's going to be asking those soft tires to last a long time. 8 laps left to go around Spa. 14 seconds to try and catch up to Psydog. Psydog still going to have to make another pit stop though, so surely this is box position here for Pure Axel. And then W True with that having to put less fuel in, he has jumped up ahead of Norm. Norm has lost a lot of positions after a long fuel stop, and InXile with that early pit stop, InXile has just overcut everyone and jumped back up into 4th position. So a great strategy here from InXile. I don't know what tires he's on. He might have to go for the 2-stop strategy as well, which might end up dropping him back down the order, but for the time being he is right up in the thick of it. Ethan's in the background. He's managed to get up into 5th position. Norm now is going to try and make the move up on Booners. I was talking about how he lost so much time. He went into the pits actually ahead of W True, but after having to stock that car up with so much fuel, he wasn't obviously saving fuel as much in that first stint, and now down in 6th and with a lot of work to do to try and get back up in this fight. Hunting down Ethan's for that 5th position at the moment. In the lead of the race, it drops under 14 seconds now as Pure Axel tries to put the hammer down, catch up to Psydog. 3.5 seconds now, so Psydog's tires just that few laps older than W True in behind in 3rd position, just 4 seconds behind Pure Axel. So can he maybe push and try and catch up? Of course, he's only 2 points ahead at the moment in the championship, ahead of Pure Axel, so Pure Axel would jump him if it stays like this for that 2nd spot for that 3-month PlayStation Plus. Psydog currently leading this race, currently leading the championship, but there he goes. He's going into the pits for that 2nd stop. He's going to change onto those medium compounded tires, no doubt, unless he goes for the hards, of course, because he needs to use one of those 2 tires at some point during this race. He's going to have to put in a little bit more fuel as well as Pure Axel rounds the final corner. Where is Psydog going to come out of the pits? He went into the pits 13 seconds behind. The pit exit, of course, is after the first corner, so we're keeping an eye on Pure Axel. Keeping an eye on Psydog. The timing shows he's dropping down the order, but it's not really going to be the case as Pure Axel comes around and he is in the lead of this race. Psydog now rejoining. Oh, sorry, is he rejoining? He was rejoining. There he goes in 4th position on the medium tires, I do believe I saw there. So he's good to go till the end of the race. He's stocked up on fuel. Still 7 laps left to go though, so it's still a fair while. Plenty of time for him to try and catch up. He's 9 seconds behind the lead. He's on the harder compound of tires, but at the end of this race, his tires are going to last that bit better. Is it going to be enough to catch back up and get back into this battle? His first task is to catch up to InXile, who's 4 seconds ahead of him. Meanwhile, Pure Axel, what strategy is he on? This is one of those moments where I wish I knew exactly what these guys were thinking. I wish I knew what they were going for, how their tires were holding up, what their practice suggested was going to be the optimal strategy, but they always managed to come out here and surprise me with these different decisions. At the moment, it's Pure Axel who is in the lead of this race. He's 4.5 seconds here ahead of W True, who is running there in 2nd place in that Aston Martin, ahead 1 second ahead of InXile, running in 3rd position. great job now to be up into the top 3. We're not quite sure, as I say, about that strategy, whether he's going to have to come into the pits, but at the moment, he's still showing plenty of pace, keeping up with the lead drivers. Then it is Sidog with that recovery drive. He's losing time at the moment on that harder compound of tyre. Yeah, up to 10 seconds now, he is off the lead. Is that strategy going to work out? Is it going to backfire? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. Meanwhile, Norm has gotten past Ethan's. Norm has gotten back up into 5th position and is on a charge. He is 4.5 seconds behind Sidog, but he is pushing on those soft compounded tyres. Yes, he is on soft compounded tyres in the Penrite Mustang. Or sorry, should we call it the Bay Karts Mustang? Love to see the New Zealand theme coming into these cars. Then it is Ethan's Monkey Motorsport come BMW as he gets wide on the exit. Catches it, doesn't get punished with a penalty, so he's gotten away with it that time. And looking through the field, Booner's still with that penalty hanging over his name. I think he might have picked up just a little bit more there as well, as he decides to come into the pits, making another stop off of those medium compound tyres. He's going to need to put a little bit more fuel in there potentially as well. Honourable Airborne's going to get the position as he slides out of the last corner, gathers it back up and carries on. He's going to jump up into 7th. Then Hardstopper and Nismanath rounding out the field, not having the race he was hoping for. Not having the finals round he was hoping for off the back of a great round previously. Coming into the pits as well. So that's going to put him even further back as he's on the hard compounded tyres. He was trying something different. Hasn't worked out for him on this occasion. It's all going the way of Pure Axle at the moment though. It seems to be the mediums and then softs are the way to go, particularly when you have the tyre conservation and the fuel conservation of this man out in front, doing an absolutely stellar job. 5 seconds ahead here of W True. Reminder that W True is on the same strategy, so that is just absolute car pace here from Pure Axle to be in the lead. Still plenty of laps to play. Can he hang on to it? Can he keep pushing right to the end? Let's take a look actually on board now with Pure Axle and see how he manages to do it. See if we can pick up exactly what the skill of this man is. And even get a look at all that onboard telemetry. One of the great things about sim racing versus the real world is you can see all that onboard telemetry, see exactly what the drivers are doing. He's coming into that corner, he was only 50% brake pressure, so interesting to see that he's just managing the brakes, just finding that optimal point, optimal way to slow down the car, and then of course hard back on the throttle. Currently has the fastest lap of the race after switching to those soft compounded tyres, 2 minute 26.8 or 0.79. And you can see just a couple of laps in, that tyre wear still getting up there. Plenty to contend with. The cars are going to get slippery and slipperier as the laps go by. A little bit rough on the exit there of the final hairpin. Gets the power down and short shifting this car as well. How the McLaren does like to be driven, and it also is a good way to just conserve that fuel that little bit more. NXL does come into the pits, so he's going off those soft compounded tyres. We talked about that might be the case. That's what allowed him to get up so far on the track, is get that track position was the different race strategy he was going for. Through Eau Rouge now. Is there a lift? Was he just flat out through the whole way? Absolute madman. Even with the tyre wear starts to creep in, he's still pushing hard here in the McLaren. There's a few drivers now coming in for the final pit stops. Ethan's and Airborne, they're in as well. Could allow Booners to jump up and gain some positions. And you saw how he was so committed through Eau Rouge. And that's how you do it through the first sector. He got the purple sector as a result of that. Showing great speed. There as he now pulls a gap of 6 seconds ahead of W True. We look now at W True as well. How is he managing this? He's got a little bit less fuel in here, so he might need to be doing a little bit of conservation as they still got 5 laps left to go. As he continues to hold that lead. Yeah, over Sidog in the background. It's crept out to 11 seconds, but it hasn't increased too much. He's actually still got a reasonable amount of tyre wear. If you compare that tyre wear to the likes of Pure Axle. Definitely struggling here, and I think maybe that's just the Mustangs, the different dynamic of the Mustang versus the McLaren and the likes of the Aston Martin. Different strengths and weaknesses, of course, between these cars. We do have balance of performance turned on, so they tend to be fairly equal in terms of pace between these cars, but they do each have their different strengths, and each car sort of goes better at different tracks or different situations. Perhaps tyre wear not the strength here of the Mustang, that front tyre wear in particular, proving to be a lot to contend with as the gap now does increase over that 11-second mark. Just a little bit settled now as drivers do spread out a little bit in the middle phase of this race. There's still some battles though, of course. Ethan's here under pressure from Boonis, who continues to pick up more penalties, unfortunately for him. 3.3 seconds now it does extend out to. Shout out as well to everyone who is coming through, dropping those follows. We love to see it. Love to see the support of all our top drivers here. For anyone who is new, this is GT4 NZ. It is a new series that we do organise here predominantly for our New Zealand drivers. As Boonis, no, I'm going to have to interrupt myself here because Boonis is putting the pressure on. He actually picked up another penalty there, so I'm not even sure what that penalty was for, but he might pick up the position. No, he doesn't quite. He nearly did it around the outside. Can we actually see what that penalty was for? Oh, Gran Turismo. Please, I want to see a replay. Why are you glitching? Alright, so in the time being anyway, he's got 4 seconds now. It's just not working out in his favour, but he's putting all sorts of pressure on the back of Ethan's. Heartstopper comes in for another pit stop. They've got 4 laps left to go as they cross the line. And it's going to require a fair bit of tyre life, a fair bit of fuel. His bonus is that surely going to be a cut as he used all the inside line. Wants to try and make it as straight as possible. Open up the corner there through Eau Rouge, and it's going to give him a good run here onto the straight. He uses the slipstream as much as he can. Ethan's defends the inside, but Boonis is going to do around the outside. He's got a good run, and is he going to get it done before the corner? Yes, he is. Boonis moves up to 6th position, ahead here of Ethan's in the BMW. Ethan's is still putting the pressure on though. Ethan's wants to come back to the inside as Ethan's done it. What? How has he managed to squeeze down there? There was no space, but somehow he gets up and back up into 6th position. Ethan's is just pulling off the craziest moves here tonight. And holy moly, I'm sure Boonis is just as gobsmacked because that did not look like it was on. But somehow he got through there cleanly as well. Ethan's back up into 6th position. Great driving. And we talk about these battles being up and down the field. Nisbanath now has just managed to get up ahead of Heartstopper as they battle it out for 9th and 10th. Heartstopper's coming back at him though, in that Mustang. But Nisbanath there on the hard compound of tyres. Whereas we just saw that Heartstopper made that pit stop, so he is on a fresh set of soft tyres. Ready to keep pushing, ready to apply that pressure, try and finish in that not last position, pick up that 1 extra point, and maybe get that little bit extra bragging rights at the end of the championship. Nisbanath runs wide, fends the inside, Heartstopper's right there. What can he do? Can he try and find that opening? Force that opening? Maybe just, if he's watching the stream at all, see what Ethan's is doing. Try and find some of that Ethan's magic. Because he is just getting positions out of nowhere. That's exactly what Heartstopper wants here, because Nisbanath's doing a great job to hang on to the position for the time being. Picking off that magic up in front. Boonis is trying to come back now. Is he going to get enough slipstream here down the straight? He's not going to be close enough on this occasion, but if he can get a good run through Eau Rouge and rattle on here. Again, he uses so much of that curb. Try and keep the power down. Oh, that could have been too much of the curb there over the top though. Keep a look on that. Yes, you can see 1 second penalty getting added onto his penalty time there. And this man is just in the wars in terms of penalty times in this race. Not working out in his favour at all, but the slipstream definitely helping him. Oh, but he goes too deep in the brakes. Wow, gets it well sideways and sliding around. That's going to hurt the tyres as he tries to pull the car up and loses a bit of time as a result. So then let's take another look at our championship battle and try and work out where things stand. We have Psydog here now 12 seconds off the lead of this race, and those medium tyres not coming back to him the way he would have wanted. He would have been hoping that Pure Axel would be running a bit slower by this point of the race on the soft tyres, as Psydogs is the one that's getting sideways, sliding around. We haven't seen much of that tonight, but it's a sign that he really wants this and wants to make the most of the track. Over 12 seconds off the lead, so he looks set to pick up 15 points if he does finish in third position. Pure Axel currently in first. He would pick up 20 points. So that would mean that Psydog would win the championship by a meager 2 points. How close can you get? He just needs to hang on to third position. He's 10 seconds ahead of Norm here though, so that's all really he needs to do. He's in a reasonably comfortable position. But the other factor, of course, is W True, currently in second spot. He would pick up 17 points in this race. He would jump to 47 and finish third. So it's on. So if I'm sorry, I'm just trying to do the maths in my head right now. Psydog would pick up 15. He would go up to 50 points. Pure Axel currently in first. He would get 20 points for first. He would go up to 28 points. W True on target for third would be on 47. So it is close. If any of these drivers can pick up any positions in these last 2 laps, it would really change up the championship. It could be 3 points between the top 3. Norm, on the other hand, is losing out a little bit. He would only get 13 for that fourth place position. It hasn't quite worked out for him in terms of the strategy. We just saw that pit stop taking so long when he had to refuel, and that dropped him down the order just a little bit. He has got up to 4th though, so top 4 in the championship, the top 4 in this race, which is absolutely cracking and what we love to see. But it is all Pure Axel at the moment. It is all going his way. Is he going to make it 5 from 5 in terms of feature race wins here in GT4 NZ? His tyre wear though, this is why I wanted to flick that telemetry back on, because that is a lot of tyre wear to contend with in these last two laps. He is going to have to be tiptoeing around here, and you can see his lap times are 128.9, so he's more than 2 seconds slower, and again on this lap more than 2 seconds slower than his peak time. But the other drivers around him are in a similar position here. W True, and he's got a little bit of a penalty as well. He's a full over 7 seconds back. So unless there's a big mistake, you'd really say that Pure Axel is in the box seat. This is his to lose, and just all comes down to such a great first stint on those medium compound of tyres. Just had clear air to work with, just put in the lap time, put in consistent time, save fuel, save his tyres as well, crucially. And that's what allowed him to, when they came out of the pit stops, get out in front. Whereas Psydog on that alternate strategy, opting for the 2-stop on soft tyres. Just such a long pit lane here at Spa, and it's maybe not the track maybe that's not the strategy that's going to work out to be the optimal. See, now he is actually a little bit faster here, dropped now below 12 seconds, but we're on to the final lap here at Spa, the final lap of the GT4 NZ Championship. This is where you don't want to relax. It's been a long race. You don't want to let off, particularly if you're this man. Pure Axel out in front, or in fact, Psydog for that matter as well, as they try to take the championship. As he tries to take the championship, while Pure Axel does everything he can. He'll be ruining some of those mistakes in the Bathurst race, getting caught up in a few of those tussles, but really making a statement here at Spa. Look through the field to try and find any battles. It seems that things have just settled down a little bit. A longer race format tends to do that. Take another look through. We got Pure Axel out in front, W True in second place, Psydog run around in third position, and then Norm in fourth. You see those front tires really taking a hounding on these Mustangs. They're just, the balance of the cars not quite set up to handle the tire wear. Looking a little bit further back, we have NXL currently on those soft powder tyres, making that late pit stop. He's made his way back up to 5th position. So I was talking about how it was a great strategy. It was still a great strategy on that 2 stops, up to 5th, ahead of Ethan's here in the BMW. Ethan's has managed to pull away in 6th position. He's pulled away here of Boonus. They were battling for a couple of laps there. Boonus now in 7th and still with that penalty to his name. Airborne in 8th with the great liveried car. He's had some moments in this race though. He's had some tussles. Look at all the dents in the front and back of that car. He's been in the wars in 8th position. Then we have Hardstopper, who's managed to get ahead of Nismanath here. We saw that these guys were battling it out for a few laps there. He's managed to use those soft compound tyres, and they're going to keep battling here on the final lap. But how is that going to resolve itself? 1 lap to go. There's going to be a few more opportunities. Can Nismanath try and find a way through? But it has been all this man here at Spa. Pure Axel comes across the line to take the race win, take the final victory, and take his 5th win in the in GT4 NZ. What a mega drive from that man. It is W True who crosses the line in 2nd place. Psydog crosses the line in 3rd. He picks up the championship win, coming off the back of his World Tour attendance in Monaco. Comes back to New Zealand and proves why he deserved to be over there, winning the championship after winning the first race. 3rd in race 2 and 3rd in race number 3. Then it is Norm in 4th position. In Exile comes across the line in 5th. In Ethan's rounding the final corner. He's going to finish the race in 6th position there. And Boonus. Oh, he does a celebration, but he hasn't made it to the finish line. Chuck it in reverse, Ethan's. Get across that finish line. There we go. He does finish in 6th position. And Boonus is going to be crossing the line in 7th. He wants to get rid of his penalty. Still got 0.1 penalty somehow. Crosses the line. There we go in 7th position. Airborne getting around. It's been a great drive from this man in his first season on Gran Turismo Sport. Picks up 8th position in the final race. Then Hardstopper still managed to hang on ahead of Nismanath. Good job from him. But there it is. Confirmation of your results. Pure Axel with the race win. And with 2nd place in the championship. Congratulations. He got fastest lap along the way. Great driving from that man. And there you go. Psydog comes in and proves why he has such a reputation. Everyone was looking forward to seeing the battle between him and Pure Axel, and it did not disappoint. So huge congratulations to him in that Boost Mobile great looking livery that he created for that car. It was Psydog on top, and Pure Axel in 2nd, like I said, will be ruined that 2nd race, that Bathurst reverse grid. It was looking so good for him in the middle phase of that race, and it came undone, and ultimately that was his undoing, finishing just 2 points there behind Psydog. And hopefully my maths is correct. We will get that confirmed for you in a minute. Just been doing that in my head while trying to watch the racing. But yeah, he was 2nd. Then W True was just 1 point. 1 point behind Pure Axel, finishing up in 3rd, and then Norm finishing 4th in that race, 4th in the championship as well. But what an absolute cracking season, cracking finale. Thank you to all the drivers for putting on an absolute show and some absolute great moves. I mentioned the top 4, we're going to have to mention Ethan's as well, because just a couple of stunning moves through that race. I think that's one that you want to save the replay and study how he managed to pull that off, how he managed to do it cleanly. But all the drivers, full credit to them. Thanks everyone for coming, tuning in through the season. Thanks as well to everyone who's produced content. That's one thing that we should talk about as well, is we do have our, Community Awesomeness prizes. We've got some PlayStation Network vouchers up for grabs, and we have actually worked out our winners for that. So I've decided to, after seeing some of the cool stuff that you guys are creating, because that's what this prize is all about. So the Community Awesomeness Award, it's kind of a vague name, but it's just about people who are awesome in the community of Monkey Motorsport Club doing great stuff. There's been so much cool stuff that I've decided to split the award. We're going to give a $10 PlayStation Network voucher to both W True for his awesome photos, and I think no one's surprised by that. We see it in the Monkey Motorsport Club Discord week after week, producing some great shots. I I mean, they're just awesome. We love it. So congratulations. He missed out on those top 2 PlayStation Plus vouchers, but he's going to pick up $10 PSN. And then we're going to have another 10. The other $10 is actually going to go to Nizmanath, the Hoon Corp driver. He produced that awesome hype video that we saw at the start of the stream.